The boy born with wrinkled body. This is how he looks 20 years later. In 1993, the world's medicine was stirred up by a case of newborn baby born with a strange skin condition that had never been seen before. It's baby Tomm Tennent from Southeast Australia. Tomm was born with more wrinkled skin than all people. His body was full of wrinkles that made his parents panic when they saw their baby for the first time. It is known that at that time, the amount of skin on Tomm's body was equal to that of a 5-year-old baby. My limbs all become big and looked like they were edematous. Tomm was born with the wrinkled skin all over his body, which scared many people. The extra skin in Tomm's body caused the medicine to have a headache to find a solution. That ultrasound results when Tomm's mother was still pregnant with me was not like that. No one could have imagined that Tomm's condition at birth would be so severe. When he was born, I was shocked. I didn't think a normal person or a small baby could look like that, said Richard Carleton, Tomm's father, shocked to meet his son. The baby's limbs are very big and look like they are solemn to medical researchers. Tomm is mysterious. They were unable to find the cause of Ichthyosis skin condition. Therefore, at the time there was no treatment and no cure for him. The only ray of hope for the boy is that his condition will improve as he grows older over time. His mom also spoke of the moment she first saw her baby boy. My heart came up to my throat, but at the same time it was lovely to pick him and cuddle him, she said. Over the years, Tomm spent a lot of time at hospital, not because he was sick, but because doctors wanted to examine his condition and learn how to help him. Since the literature never documented a case like this before, they had a hard time learning what caused them to have some such Ichthyosis skin. Upon further research, they were finally able to give Tomm and his parents some answers. Namely, experts saw similarities between the way Tomm looked and the Chinese dog breed, Shar-Pei. They discovered that Tomm's level of hyaluronic acid found in his skin was 100 times higher than normal, which is the case with Shar-Pei puppies. Knowing that those levels drop as puppies grow older, doctors hoped the same would eventually happen to Tomm, and they were right. Baby Tomm born with Ichthyosis skin all over his body is the first case in the world. However, after a series of studies, experts confirmed that Tomm's condition will soon improve over time, because the amount of hyaluronic acid in his skin is reduced to help the skin return to normal. In adolescence, Tomm's condition was much better than when he was a child. Although not as flat as a normal person, but on the boy's body, many parts of his body were less thick and wrinkled. Because of his different appearance, the boy had to grow up in many detractors and comments from those around him. He once shared in a viral Tales channel that sometimes he feels sad because some friends doesn't want to play with him when he starts going to school. However, with his kind, optimistic nature, he gradually integrated and had a close group of friends. Tomm is a gentle, kind child. Many years have passed. Tomm Tennent has turned 28 this year. Perhaps many people who have heard of this rare story will be very curious about Tomm's life and appearance in the present. Following Tomm's Facebook page, it can be seen that he was married not long ago. The couple is living happily in Frankston, suburb of Melbourne, Australia. Tomm and Hannah's looking at the latest image of Tomm can see in the face as reverse aging. Amazing because it's compared with his wrinkled skin of the past. Now Tomm's face is as smooth as a normal person, although there are still a couple of wrinkles on his forehead, but it's not significant. So after many years, going through many events and being born unlike an ordinary child, Tomm has overcome fate to live the most joyful, meaningful, and happy life. Perhaps as Tomm said on Facebook, life is simple. You make the choice and you keep going. Don't look back. All difficulties will pass if we know how to accept. Always remain optimistic and strong. Tomm has a happy life after all. In another similar story, a 5-year-old boy has a condition that causes his skin to grow at 10 times the normal rate, leaving him at risk of life-threatening infection. Ivan Fasciano from Connecticut was born with Harlequin ichthyosis, a genetic disorder which causes babies to be born with a very hard, thick skin covering most of their bodies. Ivan has to have 2 baths a day so his mom, Didi Fasciano, 33, can scrub out the excess skin. We were very strict with Ivan's skin management, so we tried to keep him skill-free, and because of that, his scales tend to be very thin, so they are easier to get off, Mrs. Fasciano said. If we didn't bath him twice a day, then the scales would get much thicker and faster and it would be harder to get off, his mother told Viral Tales channel. I can use my hands to remove most of it, and then we'll use a washcloth or exfoliating cloth. His hands and his scalp are the thickest, so that's where it takes a little bit more effort, she said. Next comes an emollient to moisten his skin and prevent it from tearing or cracking. He's usually very giggling and happy during that treatment, his mom told the Viral Tales channel. Every day after bath time, Mr. and Mrs. Fasciano cover Ivan in 2 kinds of cream to moisturize and protect his skin from getting too dry. He needs to be coated with moisturizing treatment to keep his skin moist and protected from cracking and wrapping, she said. He's usually very giggly and happy when he gets Aquaphor. Aquaphor is the cream for dry, cracked skin. Ivan's skin fast growth rate means his body burns calories at a much quicker rate than normal. Because his skin dries out so quickly, Ivan is also constantly at risk of dehydration, suffering from seizures and sunstroke. Overheating is a very scary health complication. Mrs. Fasciano said he cannot sweat, so he can overheat very easily. We were constantly pushing fluids and food as much as we can just to keep him up on the calorie intake. The skin around Ivan's eyes is so tight, it can be difficult to close his eyes without careful attention. He rarely complains about anything, added his mom. I don't know if I could say the same if I was in his possession. Ivan also has issues with his motor skills, meaning he has to be strapped into a special walking frame to move around. His younger brother, 19-month-old Senzo, doesn't suffer from the same condition and recently learned to walk. When his little brother started walking, he said, "Good job," Mrs. Fasciano said. He was very proud of him and never seemed to be jealous. Mrs. Fasciano described Ivan as a lively, happy child who is incredibly popular at school. The mom has gone into Ivan's class to teach the other children about his condition, and Ivan is always at the front of the class to help her out. He's pretty much known as the rock star in the school, Mrs. Fasciano said. Everybody waves to him. He doesn't put his hand down when he's walking in the hallway because he just has to wave and say hello to everybody. So we have been very fortunate. Mr. Fasciano said Ivan is sometimes the subject of hurtful likes and comments from strangers in public. When they are out in public, the parents say, sometimes people stare or they are rude and unthinking, such as the time a woman stopped Didi and accused her of letting her son getting purple sunburned. People who don't know him will do a double take, so we are encouraging him to make sure that he says hello to everyone who does, his father said. Sure, people stare at Ivan, he explained. There have been incidents when people have made bad comments, and you do your best to stay positive. I want Ivan to be somebody that people can look up to, somebody that they can say, wow, he's got a lot of challenges. His appearance isn't the same, but he can teach people a lot of things. Please share so more people can read about Tomm's and Fasciano inspiring story.